So this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. I'm in my car and I wanted to come to the passport office. It is no longer at the post office, but that just goes to show how much I actually go to the post office. So outside the post office, you will see like striking people. Okay, they're upset that they want more money, I'm guessing, better benefits, I'm guessing. Have no idea. There's probably something to do with money, wanting more of something. What really frustrates me right now, and that I'm like needing to get this off my chest, and this, I mean, I'm not faulting these people, go strike, they're being civil and stuff and all the things, but where was the strikes? Where were the things happening 4 years ago when we had our government overreach? Where were people on the streets picketing and shutting down businesses on their own accord, saying, you know, listen, we don't like what the government's doing to us? Like, I didn't see any of that. In this city, I felt like an outcast. I felt like I was, I was the one saying, hey, we like smiles. People would rip their masks off so fast when they saw that we didn't have to have masks in my office. I feel like, people are willing to go and shut down their income on their own accord to get more income, but they're not able to do this for the common good of everyone, when the government's overreaching and taking their jobs for not wearing a mask or not being vaccinated. And I just feel like it's kind of sad. It's sad that we're in a community, in a society, in a culture that would rather sort of step on people or do something that inconveniences other people so that they can gain income, when our government stepped on us and told us that we were going to lose our income, and no one stood up. Like, I mean, the people that did stand up, they were looked at as crazy people, tinfoil hats. They were looked at like they were the less than, and I'm one of them. And I'm proud to say that, I stood my ground. I'm a woman of conviction, but I'm also a woman of research, a woman of finding truth. I'm a woman who investigates. I'm a woman who really doesn't like people going off and saying, well, this person just told me, so I believe it. I like knowing the truth. So I say this with like a compassionate heart and sadness. I don't even know how to articulate this in the right way, but today I'm reminded that people are willing to fight to gain more in their life, more income, but they weren't ready and willing to fight for their freedom and human autonomy to their own bodies. They weren't willing to fight. There were so many people that lost their jobs because they refused to get vaccinated, and no one went and petitioned for them. No one went and striked or did anything that I could see in this community. But I mean, bigger picture, there was the truckers, and they did do a great stand for Canada. We saw the true colors of our government. Then I wasn't for any type of violence that was happening there, and I don't say that I'm, oh yay, like I'm glad that people were there and being violent, whether that was the authorities or whether that was a person like a picketer or whatever. But I do know that it'll be talked about for history. Many people will not talk about the weakness in people. They won't talk about the weak people. They'll forget about the weak people and the people who did nothing. But what they won't stop talking about is the people who did something, and the people who stood up and had a voice and said no and said this is wrong. And we're seeing, you guys, just go check the stats. I don't want to be the stat girl anymore, but last I checked, there was over 3,700 cases in Alberta of unknown death. And in historically, it's been between 200 people and 500 people. And we're seeing heart attacks like crazy in young men. And we're seeing a lot of lung issues, clotting issues, a lot of brain dementia, early onset dementia, which I believe is vascular dementia, which is a restriction of the blood flow and due to blood clotting. Anyways, that's me, that's Jess, but people are going to remember what I say because I'm actually saying something to my convictions, whereas there's a lot of people out there that they're weak, they won't say anything, they would rather just remain silent. So I give these guys a little bit of applause right now that they're out there with their fire and their pickets and stuff, and I think that's great. I think they're standing up for their convictions, which is wonderful. It just brought me to a really kind of sad place to remember that wasn't happening for their fellow co-workers who were fired for not wearing masks and lost their jobs and didn't get them back. And it's sad. It's just sad to hear of all the nurses and stuff, and there wasn't these pickets happening outside of the hospitals or anywhere when the nurses were getting laid off and fired and told if they don't get vaccinated they can't work. We're never going to forget that, but the weak people that did nothing and said nothing, you're going to be forgotten, but not by the strong people. The strong people who noticed and the strong people who stood out, we don't forget. So just letting you know.